Wait a minute.
Mr.
Nobody.
Jeremiah Pfeiffer. Jeremiah X Pfeiffer or Jeremiah Pfeiffer.
It's Jeremiah X. Trevor. Learn something from somebody.
Now, how do you spell that X?
I got LaQuisha yesterday. No, well, not yesterday. I got LaQuisha 3 days ago. And I told her, I said, they won't give me my 4 lines, girl. Can you help me? She must have been on her lunch continuum. She's like, well, I'm gonna tell you that they ain't gonna do that. You may have to find you some other carrier.
Hey, look, I'm just gonna be real with you, bro.
I said, LaQuisha, girl, get off my phone, cause you are not the one today. You are not it. She's like, all right, you have a good one. Bye. You can tell when black folk get too comfortable, son, and they don't care.
Oh, yeah, she was
and
at
they be
home.
around lunchtime or like off time. They have 2 modes. They either trying to get to work to get off of work, or they're like trying to get off lunch to get back home.
Yeah, and they be at home.
She did not care. She was like, well, go ahead. Well, I'll let you. Deuces. Why you still holding the phone?
Right. Nigga, I hung it up and picked it back up because I thought I had another line.
You said you was
you.
gonna pour it out. Go on, nigga. Well, damn, you ain't gotta treat me like that. Can you transfer? I ain't transfer you to nobody. You can get the fuck off my phone.
You said.
Wait a minute, lady. they hold you what you say now. Black people do. They hold you what you're saying. Until you say something about them, then they be like, I don't know about that rabbit.
So you just gonna let my name come out your mouth? That's what you doing? You forget I got your address, huh?
No,
LaQuisha, I'll be over there.
LaQuisha, you come around here, you have another charge on you, girl. You won't have no job. You got your probation people look for you, you ratchet ass.
She on house arrest. That's why she working at home.
That's right. He ain't got nothing to do with the coronavirus. This was your shopaholic, shoplifting problem. That's
The
coronavirus.
shop.
You know, probation. All right.
The lifting of shop.
Oh, let me get on here. If you have something while I'm looking for my something, then you can start with your interview.
You on?
I am.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Trevor Jones on the Stu the Godcast production, or the freestyle, because it's a style that is free. We are interviewing the one and only Jaie X. Live concepts. No walls having. No, my good buddy, Jaie King. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me. Everybody, y'all, welcome Trevor to this show. Y'all know him, love him, appreciate him, but you have not had him. Not the way that you will experience him on today. Everybody, this is Stu, a Godcast production. This is freestyle, a one-on-one real relationship on how to get over whatever. And your latest, make it make sense, Bible sense. That is our collaboration, but it is your brain, baby. And God has been blessing, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
It's always good to be in the house.
Happy Sabbath, brother.
Happy day.
Shabbat.
Shalom.
Exactly. If one of them comes to you and say,
anything else,
yeah. Say Ashalam Laker. I don't do the Lakers. I don't.
Because
I just like the colors. The purple and gold is anointed.
It is appointed. They got a PPP and they got too much money to do the PPP, and so I know before long they'll be going to prison. And so not the players, Beyonce. Let me allow you. You know they gave her $23. $1,000 PPP, she cashed a check too. I said she cashed a check.
I heard of a lot of artists and TikTok or social media influencers do that pretty much. So they're recording on how to do this stuff.
Because
I think it's brilliant.
We talk about it, then we'll start experiencing it. You know, well, yeah. I thank God.
Ain't got nothing to do with this. That's dim.
We'll talk about that.
Let's
Ain't gonna do that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Can't do that. No, sir.
Nobody got time for that.
Yeah, because you talk shit up. It's like we talked to the devil, and then now he come in the room and he stay back there and make noise and play all day. I'm sick of the devil playing on my top.
The devil was up there with God, with the other sons of God, and God. I said, what the hell you be in?
Yeah, right, because consequently, God down here, he said, "Lo, I'm with you always," and we put him in heaven.
Yeah, he's the
I told you, I'm here. I'm all around you. I'm literally enveloping you like water, and you have it wasn't a flood, it was me. I was saying hello, and y'all died.
I was killing
you
all
idiots.
y'all. I had to kill you with myself.
It's like I told you to build an ark, not to hide from me, but to be consumed by me. No, what's wrong? Everybody else got it, but you dummy.
It started with Adam running from me.
What that idiot? I don't know why I even made him. Pulled him from the man. He clearly he wasn't a man. Clearly he wasn't a man because he ran.
And sometimes
he was y'all close your eyes. He was not the man because he ran. You know, that's the first time I get on here and see something that's like that big, and I think to myself, good God, have your way, because today would have been the day. That is so pretty. I love that vehicle.
That's beyond. That's
yeah. You.
That's like what I would perceive Eve to be.
Yeah. You ain't have to make the personal relation. Now they know what we're talking about. Trevor was watching porn on my laptop, and I just happened to pass by the site and see the lady's face, and so he perceived her face to be like Eve's face. On today, I am interviewing Trevor, Solomon, Terrell, Oakland, Judah, Osama Bin Laden, Jones,
Jehoshaphat,
Jeroboam. Yeah, King. Jehoshaphat is good though, because you told me yesterday you came into a situation where there was a person breaking down just off of like you sharing how blessed your day was. They broke down and had to give God glory later for their breakdown now. From the point that she started sharing, what was going through your mind in the Uber?
From even before then, just God, you're awesome. You are amazing. Because God was already showing up even before that time. He actually allotted for me to be able to call the Uber. It was being in the right place at the right time, and allowing God to hail the taxi for you, to slow the lady down, to turn around and give you some money, to just being.
Like you could tell.
You
I'm turning it.
Turn it. Just being obedient, man. Just and praising Him through it all, regardless of whatever's going on. Just Lord, you know what? Doesn't matter. I love you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Keeping a pleasant disposition. I know sometimes it's not always easy, but like once we get past the what the hell, and it's like
your chair keeps it rubbing. When you say it's not easy, I know a lot of people. I know a ton of people live there, and it's not easy. It's rather difficult, like trusting Him when you can't trace Him. For the preachers who say stuff like that, you gotta trust God even when you can't trace Him. But you know, they live in like a box, you know. for people in the real world, make that relatable, but still real. How can you trust somebody that you can't trace?
But seriously, I have no idea what that means. You can't trace me,
like you can't find them. Like you're praying and don't get an answer.
So as far as the praying and don't get an answer, I know I'll come on back to that. I know a lot of times I've realized I was praying wrong. You trying to make that phone call and it keeps saying make sure you dial the whole 10 digits or whatever, or you're dialing out of state, and sometimes you got to put that one or in the beginning of it. I know how it used to be back in the day when I was younger. You just keep getting that busy tone, or it just keeps hanging up on you, so you eventually just get frustrated, or you just stop and you give up. But I know I made the phone call before.
Yeah.
And I have to go back and recount all of the actions, all of the ways that I did it before. I have to stop panicking, stop worrying about the situation at hand, and what do they say? Take that step back.
Yeah.
And okay, how did I do this last time? Even if you have to do the exact same thing until you learn how to do it the first time, every time. So if you're going through a situation and you turned around 3 times right at the phone and you dial 10, 10, 2, 20, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to do that every single time until you learn how to do it, because that's crucial. It's muscle memory. Muscle memory is crucial. It's critical.
And explain what that means.
Muscle memory, learning how to do something over and over and over the exact same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's repeating it.
Yes.
Not insanity, but insanely.
Yeah. The insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Sanely is doing the same thing over and over and over in order to perfect it. Okay, that's You have to, when it comes to this, regardless of what happens, the water spills. You know what? That was cold. Let me go and jump up like I did the last time because this is cold. I don't want this to get stained. What do I need to do instead of barking orders or why you do that? Just go ahead and grab the towel.
Yeah.
Let's not get hasty and get this. You get what I'm saying? Like, you just have to do that. That's important.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Just being able to get in the car. Being thankful. Because I was walking. And God gave me the idea.
To get in the car.
Yeah, why are you walking? Why are you walking?
You'll do that. You'll say, get off the road and get in the car.
So we found shade. And we called.
I'm aware of the process, Doc. We're going back and forth. Yeah, they might have gonna sit here in 30 minutes while you slowly depict how you got into the Uber.
But after we called, no, seriously though, like the significance of it is when I did get on the phone with the guy, he said he had somebody come to get to me in 15 minutes. I didn't even know I was calling an Uber. I thought I was calling a taxi. But he said he'll have somebody come to me in 15 minutes, but I have to pay with the card, now. I was like, why do I have to do that? He explained, this is an Uber. I'd never ridden an Uber at all, period. Thank God that I had the 20 on there. But he said, you know what, hold on, maybe hold for like quite a bit. Baby boy was like upset because I had to use his phone. And he finally got the right person who was supposed to be coming to get me, and we were supposed to be getting in that car in order for us to connect. That's how God connected all of that. Everybody in it, around it, has to be obedient because God has ordained it. People don't even know why they're moving in certain ways and certain things are happening, whether they bless you or they try and curse you or they try and bury you. But certain things have to happen because God is ordaining it. He's using all of the pieces in order for His glory. That's the amazing part right there. And she brought it to my attention. She said, it was meant for you to get in my car today. Yeah. That is so good, man. Whew. But anyway, how are you doing today?
Fine. He's all right. He's all right. I think about that, Doc, and I'm thinking we're so stubborn and hard-headed as people.
Yeah, in general, yeah.
And like we can know the right way and go the wrong way. My sister Nicole said the other day, she read whatever verse in the Bible that He won't put too much or more on you than what you can bear. But she read it out of a different translation. And it said that everything God provides for you to go through, if everything God allots for you to go through, that He has provided for you a way to come through it. Not because He makes it, He's just in the background pulling it. He tests the severity of it and determines how much you can handle, and that's where He limits it. And I thought to myself, good God, that's good, that He tested today's severity and determined for me that won't kill me, Jay, go through it. And when you come to a place where it feels like it's too heavy, God tested it. You come to a place that doesn't seem like you'll remain heavy or steady, God tested it. You come to a place where the storm is too high, the shit is too tough. You don't know how much you can take. Sometimes, God, this be enough. He said, I tested the severity. And if you're seeing it, that's because I believed you to get through it. Not because I'm hoping and I'm wishing, God said, but because I've tested it and I've seen you win. How can you compete or argue with somebody who's seen you winning? Right. Now, if you die here, that's because you wanted to die here. But if you're looking at it, that's because God saw you coming through it. I said, man, how many times we give up? And God saw us getting up, but we stay down.
That's why it's crucial that God blesses us to have to go through it again. I know that I've complained about going through some of the same stuff over and over and over and over and over, not realizing that I stayed down, but God put me back at that restart point, or back at the beginning of the game, or to where I had to go back through this stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is deja vu, or like, why am I going through this thing? Because I didn't make it through that level. I didn't learn something. I didn't level up, as they say.
I noticed that in my personal life. It's like I'll stop throughout the day and be like, hold on. Because now we're going in cycles. What am I missing? God, what do I need to see here? I need to get past 15th and 9th Street. You know what I mean? I don't need to keep on going in no loop.
Right.
What am I missing here? It's like, well, you can't go through the construction zone. Well, wait, I may not need to go through it. I may need to stop there and stay there and find out, like, why is there construction here? See, we're trying to get around stuff, and God wants us to go through stuff.
Move it.
It's not that God put it there, but He's using it. It says all things work together for the what? The good of who? Of them that love the Lord.
Yeah. And we can do all things through
different verse.
No. Through God. If you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you can speak to that mountain and it has to move because God ordained you in that situation to be able to move construction.
Move it. Get it out the way. But you have to be in a mountain moving position to move the mountain. You can't come with molehill movability and speak to the mountain. And so Jesus shows us so many pointless things. I was just kidding.
You know that one lady gonna be like, you know Jesus is my Lord.
Yeah, don't.
Yes.
No, we'll talk about family.
Yeah, it's the best time.
Jesus comes in and shows us, and you better not post that, Doc. You better not post that part.
I really think no.
Jesus comes in and shows us so many wonderful things as just an example of what a prophet should be and how we ought to act like one in our daily lives as we choose to be the example in walking form of what he was in word form. He came in and said, when you can't move the mountain, it says he came down and came around it. You don't always have to move something. If your faith is not there, he said, just don't stay there. Go around it and come on down.
Right.
You got to come down a place where that was hard for you, heavy for you. Come down a place that they said you had to move. He said, no, you don't. Be like the train, the little engine that could. He said, you ain't got to come down everything. You ain't got to move everything. Just come around it. She'll be coming around the mountain. She come. Come on. So let me ask you something, since I'm apparently the only one he's asked questions.
You won't allow me to talk.
I did when I did allow you to talk. It went for 10 minutes about you.
It was 7.
And about what the lady was saying as she decided not to pick you up. You told me a man had picked you up first time. Now he says his lady was it a transvestite, because God dealt with that in the Bible. In the Garden of Adam and Eve, he pulled out Eden. How do you? No, in real world, since Doc, we're coming back into shutdown.
Right. Do you remember?
Trevor.
Do you remember that?
Trevor, I was here. Of course I remember. I'm always right here. I don't forget everything, just 92% of things. We're coming back into shutdown, and this is the highest statistical intoxication of some ailment influenced by man that we know since smallpox. And so many people live in fear, and they really don't need any more preaching, but they need something practical. How do you encourage them who are afraid from the coronavirus? How do you encourage them who are too cautious, too safe, where they can't even live and carry on their lives? And then for somebody else who's just struggling, trying to get through it and keep their sanity in a place that has no serenity, how do you encourage them to move on, to keep their head up, to go on?
It's tough. First, instance, my mind wants to go to speaking to the practicality of them, the sit back, understand this, take the time, sit back, understand it. But sometimes you can't do that when people are panicking.
But they're counting on tonight and sitting here waiting.
Squeak. I know that it's crucial for some people to know that ever since this COVID-19, the Delta variant, whatever it is, there hasn't been any talk of the flu. Nobody has died or even gotten sick or haven't gone to the hospital for the flu. No children have gone to the doctor and said, I'm sick, I have the flu. Or the doctor gives them, or the parents, the medicine, the prescription, and give them the medicine to fix or cure the flu. I know that.
I
thought it was.
Yeah.
I did not even look at that thing. I was right here. I'm right here. I know that we're living in the end times because there's so many rumors of war. You have anyways, Japan and Turkey and Russia, all of them, along with the United States, are fighting over this one land, and then it's so much going on. Where if you are a believer, if you've read anything about the Bible, you've heard about the Bible as far as what Revelation says is lining up too smoothly. But let's say that they haven't.
Hold on for a second. Pause for a minute. Okay. Let's say that let's go back in time just a little bit. Mm-hmm. The day Brittany left.
Okay.
Was the same day Ashley walked out. Was the same day we both got fired from Metro PCS. The same day we both got evicted. You show up in a room and I'm trying to hold it. You show up trying to be strong for me, but you trying to keep it together yourself. That person is here tonight trying to encourage, but be encouraged. Because the real world sense is like coronavirus killing people. So it's like sex and sin and TV shows. But somebody's terrified to death, son.
I understand what you're saying, where you wanted me to come from. I know a lot of those things that you just called out, for me to like get there. I've worked really hard not to be in those places anymore, to just move past it, realize that it had to happen, or it happened. I praise God through it. Cussing the whole time, it's like, but I'm here on this side. I praise God. I love myself even more on this side because I was going through the learning how to love. And then the whole Metro PCS, I didn't know that. I'm gonna try and harness that as best as I can. But you said they're scared, they're panicking. Like I said, I want to speak to the practicality of the understanding. Like I said earlier, they're panicking, so you can't really speak to people that are panicking about stuff that's like knowledgeable. So you have to tailor your talk. So with that, I would tell believers to don't forfeit the time with your family. I know what they say on TV. Whether I believe it or not, if they believe it or if they're unsure about it, I wouldn't suggest getting the solution, the shot, the vaccine. But that's me. I know we're branching off into a world where they're about to start shutting stuff down, but they're also going to be like no proof of vaccine, no mask, no service. But it's not the end of the world. There's so many things technology-wise where we don't have to worry about leaving the house. I don't have to worry about, well, he wouldn't let me in the store. I know that a lot of people are trying to separate themselves because they are scared. I don't want to catch this, I don't want to catch this, I don't want to catch this. But wouldn't it be better to be by loved ones if some sort of tragedy did happen, instead of I was too scared to go and visit my mom and now she's gone? I've been in that situation too many times I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. And I know with some of the people, I would give anything just to be able to say goodbye. Hold them, hug them. But I didn't get that chance. I would suggest people to honestly do their research on this instead of just going off of what they hear and see. Just because certain people are shutting down this business, the world, does not mean that this is the end of the world. Protect yourselves. Go ahead and start getting prepared as far as getting certain things, so it's not, so when they do shut it down, people aren't rushing to the store causing more of a problem, riots and stuff, trying to get tissue, and then people run out of tissue and gas and all of that stuff. Be prepared. Remember what happened last time and do better this time. Instead of saying separate, get with your family. Because you're better together than you are alone. You say 2 heads are better than 1. Things are not as bad as they make it out to be. Be smart about their decisions. It's pretty much.
Jeremiah, dude, somebody under that, what would you say to him? Well, Doc, I tell you, I would tell him, like my
Actually,
just go right there.
I got a different question for you. I just heard whoever talked.
When the hell was you gonna ask it? When were you gonna ask it? Tomorrow?
Whenever you get ready for me to ask.
I'm ready.
If you had to give the public service announcement to the entire world, you said what?
PSA.
Yeah, to the entire world, to counter Biden. Not saying that like what you're saying is gonna like get you in trouble, but you know that you've been called to let God's people know the truth about how the world is. Regardless, we're about to shut down. What they best should do.
How would I do that? What would I say? I would put on my best suit and my best cardinal bird bow tie. I would have my pocket square and my sunglasses on. And I would hold the mic ever so gently against my chin with it in my hand. And I would say, good evening, America. Tonight I don't come with salutations of the state of our economy. I cannot tell you where we are as a country. I can tell you where God wants us to be as a people. I know that name is scary for some of you, but you have to understand the place where I come from won't know no other name but His. Come from a place where you can call on the mayor and they not answer. Call on the people down the street to cut on the lights and they leave you in the dark. I don't know nobody else but Grandma and God. So on tonight I can tell you where He wants us to be, because I've been where He wants us to be. And that's in a place where we're not running from it, but a place where we're all submitting it. See, that's the problem with us people, not you people, not black people, not white people, not Oriental people. It ain't the Arabs. It's that we've forgotten the God who called us to be here, not in a country of like servitude to no man, to no power, to no entity, but one that was united under God, and we've forgotten Him. I quote one of my good friends on tonight, Trevor Jones. Y'all look him up on YouTube, because that's still a thing. He said that the problem with the world, Jeremiah, is that we forget we're Israelites, coming from Deuteronomy 26, 27 and 29. He said we've taken on the promises, but we forgot the privilege that God puts in there as an understanding that we always forget, and that's not to forget Him. When we do that, And so we're cursed as a people in this whole nation. Why? Because we've forgotten God. I'll draw you to the Constitution. I can't draw you to an amendment. But I can draw you to amend your Constitution with Him, that you quit that shit. We not run from no virus, but you stand up to it. We not run from no white man, because we stand up to it. And that's not a color, that's a power to tell you you're in darkness and stay there in ignorancy. Tonight I encourage you to fight back, and that's just in prayer. Tonight I encourage you to get the shot, and that's just being guarded with the shield of the Spirit. Tonight I encourage you to educate yourself, and that's not in the book or in the back of a visor's caution on a death weapon. But that's in your Bible and reading it. And this time is not to tear us apart, it's to bring us together. And we can come out of this stronger. But like Trevor said so many years ago, as he sits tonight handicapped in that chair, we're better together. And there's some places where you ought not be alone. Be joined with your families. Sometimes your friends. Sometimes we need to sit at the table with enemies to bridge that gap. Every place that God is, I know I can touch and they be healed. I know I can pray and they recover. I know at the end of the day, regardless of what color, creed, kind, or origin we are, we're all united. Not under Pfeiffer, nor Biden, nor Obama, nor Trump. It's a nation under God, and in Him we trust. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you Sunday. Elevated life.
What would you say to the business owners? Because I know so many business owners, they took a loss. And so it was a blessing for a lot of them who were able to actually get the PPP loans and the EIDL loans and the grants and stuff. So the ones who maybe got the first round, didn't get second round, so on and so forth like that, was pretty much just now or opened. It's slow getting back to the way business was, and now we're on the verge of like shutting back down again. These people are, the small business owner they depend on this business to feed their family. What would you tell them?
I would tell them.
How would you prepare them? Excuse me. What would you tell them, and how would you prepare them?
Well, let's do the preparation first. Because what I would tell them is winded. Preparing. I think there's no better place than in business to be than stalked and prepared. But in order to be stalked and prepared, you have to know your purchaser, your customer, and then you have to know the platform that you reach them on. I think when the pandemic came, we were so used to in-person POS sales that we couldn't move to virtual because it was impossible. Where you had to go to the bank to get any money out, and then in one day they stopped cash completely. Well, your livelihood depended on you having the dollar in your hand, and you died. But be ever evolving with the time, right? Don't be conformed to like, this is how I did it and that's the only way I know how to do it. Be malleable, valuable to today's environment that you can change at the drop of a pen. Right? We got up and moved from Huntsville to Nashville. Right? We went from contracting to resourcing overnight, and it has to happen just that same way, because stuff changes overnight. It's not going to wait for you to catch up. Right.
It's like the power of the pen.
Yeah. If the mask is popular today, tomorrow is too late. You understand what I'm saying?
To work on what marketing.
Be ahead of the curve, right? We can get advertising later. Let's be the first one to push out product today. We'll catch the rest as we go. But there's some opportunities, some chances that God affords us by fluke that we ought to just faith and trust, especially if you are a Christian in a believer who happens to have a business, then you gotta trust his signs. Everything happens for a reason. God is lining you up. If you saw it, jump on it. That's in a preparation, because you can never be too prepared.
Right.
But in your preparedness, be malleable to like change it. Don't like make a plan to be like, tomorrow at 8 o'clock I'm gonna get up and go here, and then that place burns to the ground. You're like, still gotta get up and go there. Why? Why when now you gotta go across the street? I'm not just here. Apparently God burned the building down. Take your ass on across the street.
I'm gonna sift through the rubble. I'm gonna find. But...
You know, a good one to relate that to is Nehemiah. In the book of Nehemiah, in the Old Testament, he rebuilds the wall of Jerusalem. They done tore down the wall and whatever. Now his daddy had the task of building it. He built it the first time. His father did. Somewhere in his daddy's dying and him growing, they destroyed the wall, and God gave him the assignment to rebuild it. Well, all along on the way, he faces trial and test from Sanballat and somebody else. And so he has to adapt quickly. And every portion of the wall is built by some of their family. So God places him right here to instruct these folk, this is how you build it. But every inch of the wall, I mean, if every mile of the wall per se, it changes because the people change, the environment change, and catch it, the attack change. So he couldn't tailor everybody do it the same way because the attack is going to be different. So know that when you're building, it's going to hit you, but it's going to hit different. See, the devil's not stupid. He may be an idiot, but he ain't stupid because when you build, he knows that you've been reinforced. He knows that you have some concrete in you. He knows that you got some skill about you. So he tailors the attack for where you're at. If we fight the same way we did yesterday, we'll lose. You got to be ready to what's that? Adapt to the as you go on.
So you have to be willing to adapt to as you're walking down this wall. That I'm used to perfection. I'm used to the things going my way, but I can't take the time to fuss and recorrect. But the wall is up. These bricks are not the way they should be. The sideways and all this and other stuff. But hey, it's up. And it's solid. So it's like learn to just knock out I know for me, knock out the trying to be perfect. And just praise God that it's done.
But you could praise him as you work. Praise him as you, because the wall is as strong as the piece next to it. And if we stick on this portion of the wall while the rest of it is down, then this one it may be perfect, but it's weak. But if we can just go ahead and get it up, then we'll be fortified in it that we're stronger together. So if we're not connecting, then I may be big, but I'm weak.
In this one piece that's perfect, this piece, the surrounding pieces around it are going to be solid as anything that has ever been built, but everything else is still not built. And then even if at the end, at the very last second, we go ahead and just throw it on, all of this up until here, this perfect piece is solid, is built, but this is not. So if they know this, they just got to come over and tap it. So we have to realize sometimes we just got to throw some stuff together and realize that God is going to hold it together because at the end he's going to connect it all together. And while it's all connected, it's going to be stronger because we found a way to make it be congealed, to stick together.
I know it to be reinforced not by us but by him. See, there's a lot of the times we want to move God to be in this portion of our lives or that place in our lives, and God is like, I couldn't do that because I was holding it. See, if he took his hands off of it, that's the bigger picture we don't see. We complain about, well, why you ain't give me the chair? Why I ain't got why I ain't got the bedroom set? Well, one, because you don't never wash your feet and you jump in on the air bed, and that's all stained up, and God don't trust you with a brand new bed. Why would he? Your nasty feet. He says to him, I cannot do what you're asking me to do because I'm holding the roof and the walls. I can't move in the way that you need me to. Yes, I'm omni, but there's some some places you got me that got me so stretched thin, I couldn't do it because I've been doing everything else. And we forget about the stuff we don't have to pray about.
And he needs us to just lift up our hands.
And say, God, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, I trust you. I stop fighting against you. I'll work with you. What do you want me to do? And then that frees him up.
Right.
See, because some of this stuff is already dry and we're requiring him hold it. He was like, I'll do it because you asked me. But for real, I've already created it, made it. Trust me enough to know I built it so you can't break it. Nor can your enemy, nor can the folk next door, nor can no gunshot go through it and kill you.
Right.
It may hurt you, but it won't get you.
Right.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt. We doubt him, and how do we move from doubting God to honestly believing him in every aspect, just to know that he's got it, even if it don't seem like it? How do we know he's got it?
Little by little, working hard every single new day to be more faithful than how I was yesterday. Waking up, praising him, Lord, I thank you for everything you did for me today. I'm working today to be even more faithful. It seems like, Lord, you're telling me to get up. I'm just gonna go ahead and get up instead of being like, well, I'll wait for 5 more minutes because I'm tired. I don't feel like it, Lord. And the Lord's like, you know what? Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and slow things down in order for you. But if we go ahead and just move when he says.
That's right.
And like certain things will come instantly instead of. Matter of fact, the Lord will have our enemies build the wall, be the protection of us, or like you said, other people as we're going through just managing. Lord, I was over here worried about how I was going to set this up and do this, but I come to the site. I'm on time. I come to the site because I've been obedient, and you've got a whole bunch of other people doing it, working on it for me. I don't even know what's going on. And God says, put on your hard hat and just go make sure everybody's okay.
Sometimes this is bad management too. You on your own work site, you know what the hell going on. But God does work in the background. Well, he'll work it out as long as you said faithful to show up. I don't even know why I'm here. I'm just showing up. You ever been hired for a job that you didn't that you weren't applicable for, you didn't qualify for? I don't know how I got this position, but I just got this position. And you'll find out that folk who were applicable for it, who actually possessed the qualities for it, didn't get it. So what they do on that same job is they'll try and make things harder for you because you're doing what they would like to do but can't. You're getting paid what they want to but ain't. And so they try to make it hard for you. Because for real, you know what to do. Oh man, God says, I'll make them your footstool. I'm not the funny faces, because that don't matter what they do behind your back. I'll make them your foot. Your prayer ought to be, God, push my enemies. Success them. I want them to thrive in everything that they do. Because the more you elevate them, the higher I'm going to go. It's impossible for them to pass you. It's a footstool. Right. They'll always be under.
Okay.
They'll always be under. Right. Now, not that I'm praying that they stay down, because God, I pray they move up.
Right. Because every time, yeah. See,
but until they lose that mindset,
right? As
long as they're an enemy to you, not you an enemy to them, as long as they're an enemy to you, you'll always be stepping on what they thought would be your head on the floor. That's me getting ahead of whatever you throw at me.
And that's why God sets up the table for us in front of our enemies.
Come on, David.
So it's like wondering why sitting in front of enemies.
Yeah.
Why? I know it says, one of the scriptures says, if you had aught with your brother.
Yeah.
And I know we're all brothers and sisters in the Lord. Right. So in one instance, things are counting down. I need to make amends with any and everybody, regardless if I don't have any enemies. They claim to be my enemy, but I know that the Lord is setting stuff up to where I'm going to just go ahead and accept the dinner, show up because God told me to, and just apologize for it, regardless.
Hey, enemy.
I know sometimes
Yeesh.
being apologetic, even if you didn't do anything, that can humble somebody. That can slow their attack all the way down because they were not expecting it.
That's like honey and like what would it be like you'll catch more. You'll catch more bees.
You
catch more bees with honey.
Honey than shit.
Yeah. Now bees like shit,
Yeah.
but you'll catch them and you'll keep them. And the thing about
Flies too
is that they eat it, but they leave, and they leave heavy, and they smell bad, but they've been in your presence. Honey keeps them. They make it, but they can't get unstuck from it. The more pure you be, the more godly that you be, what'll happen is that you won't conform, but they'll transform.
Yeah.
You be so much God that it irritates the hell out of them that they'll either change or they'll die off or they'll leave you alone. Yeah. When you encounter me, it should change you or I should never ever see you again. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You're going to either like me or you're going to really fucking hate me. It's going to be, there should not be any go between. That's what Sister said. She said, what was the thing? If you encounter somebody who does, if I came in contact with a heroin addict, right, we should have nothing to talk about. Right. There should be no sign of me that says that they're comfortable. I walked to the. I'm sorry. I know I'm jumping. I was at the gas station last night, early this morning. And the guy came up and said to me, "Do you smoke?" As we passed by, I'm turned around and he stood there waiting for an answer. I said, "No, I don't do that." And then he kept on walking. I'm like, wait. If I apply what Sis said, then there must be something about me I need to check that he thinks that I smoke. But I smell like smoke. Not the kind of smoke that he was alluring to, not no weed. Smell like Newports. But what is my smoke letting off to the rest of the world that it's okay that they can approach me in that way and I still be, you know what I mean, like comfortable enough to smoke, just not that, and that be it's a self-check.
Right.
Moment.
Right. Two things. The honey. I know the bees build their the where they live, their hive, with honey and other stuff. So if I'm the honey, these bees, quote unquote, or whatever, are my enemies, then they need to come and get stuck with me, and then by the time they leave, they need to go and build and be better, so they can protect their families. So when they're leaving, we're no longer enemies. We are conjoined together as brothers and sisters under the Lord. Now, I completely understand what Sis is saying as far as like how there should be something wrong with me if somebody comes and so on and so forth.
But it's not nothing wrong, which just changes the question.
Right. Yeah. I look at it like this: that affords me an opportunity to praise God, to talk about God, to let this person know who doesn't know me from Adam. Okay, cool. I might smell like smoke. Matter of fact, last night when I actually went downstairs and I smoked a cigarette, there was already a man downstairs, and he was sitting down smoking a cigarette and he was drinking a beer. And we started talking, and then we got on the topic of cigarettes. And as I'm smoking, and he's, we need to stop, and he proceeded to say, you say 60-something years old. If I don't stop, I'm gonna die pretty soon. And I said, well, you're gonna die because you keep speaking it over your life, and you need to stop that. You need to give it to the Lord, and if you want to stop, then give it to Him. Ask the Lord to take the taste out of your mouth and just work on it. Just praise Him through it all, and regardless, you're gonna do it. He said, but I'm scared because you know what happens. Most people who quit, they end up catching cancer. I said, well, don't worry about all that. Just give it to God. If God blesses you, if God gives you cancer, if you happen to catch cancer, it's for a reason. That know that He's going to help you beat that cancer in order for you to give your testimony to somebody else. And he was like, well, I never thought about it that way. And I said, yeah, people who catch the cancer and they turn around and die on it is because they've been speaking it on their life. You just stop speaking that you're going to die soon or that you're going to die, whatever. We was talking about how people are, how some people are like 90-some years old with a cigarette hanging out their mouth, still just up and roaming and moving. And I said, because they stay moving. They're not speaking on, I'm just gonna go over here and sit down for a minute. I'm gonna die if I. They're not even worried about death because it's not an option.
Yeah.
What's an option is taking care of my family until the day I die, which I have no plans on dying anytime soon. So I'm gonna be up smoking this damn cigarette and working. So I said, stop speaking that negative on your life. Right? Regardless of how much negative you've gone through, you won't stop going through negative until you learn to speak positive. I can, then stop that. Yeah. Regardless if you are a smoker, we're all human. We make mistakes. So if somebody walks past me, I smell like smoke, or I have beer on my breath. And you got a beer? No, sir, I don't. I just got finished with my last one. I apologize, man. But man, you know how good God is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, for every opportunity to talk about God, you never know how that's gonna save somebody's life. Yeah, I know I don't do it every single time.